my lucky number?
Well, now it says 538. Oh, 358 again.
Okay.
3582. That's my lucky number.
That too?
That's the combination on my luggage.
We'll say that number.
I like
5382. It's all over the shop. Double up, Ertz. That's the takeaway here.
This is for like Inside Rex, I think. Survivors.
I don't know.
But you guys are the lost flips.
Then gun. Getting a little frisky with 10-8 suited under the gun.
Still chip leader in my head.
Yeah, so she's playing a pretty good stack. Boyka, you give a high stakes specialist this hand, they always get involved. They never outright fold.
This would be good.
Oh, it's just a call with the ace 5.
I'll
Well,
take
at
my
least
favorite
call it.
hand. My favorite hand is tens. That's all I want. No, I won't be greedy.
Hurry up.
All you want.
So close.
This hand is actually playable for a call.
All right, let's see three.
Closing action.
I call.
Suited queen.
Play the trap one time.
Scarface is in.
Don't want to scare the fish away.
Wow.
Six, 5, 4, heart.
I would stop and go the queen 7 in this spot.
Right? Doesn't matter anyway. I'm not losing.
There are ways where his opponents will both fold.
Mama, we need to win this hand.
Palma shoves
$95,000.
with the 2 overs.
Oh, I could have got a throw.
Backdoor clubs, the open ender.
Ace Jack. What do you
Boyka calls. He's got a pair.
Look, you're even gonna get one back.
14 outs for
It's
Palma.
not gonna feel like anything. Yeah, I'll toss it over.
I think the faded out one's being their
I got a
14,
four,
right?
four.
So
Correct. 14 was the original.
Right.
Give me a club on the turn. I don't want to hit up a third. I want a
8
10
live
of clubs. We
ones.
won't be greedy.
You gotta put your chips in the middle.
We're in. I gave him the change already for his 100. I had it set up. Don't worry.
You could've just checked.
Okay, we gotta do the slow stand up on this river. Please. Come on, you got good energy,
Deuce versus
Charlene. Come
Palma.
on, Charlene.
No thank
Queens,
you.
8s, and 7s
Come
working
on.
for him.
Come on, Charlene. Don't do it to me, Charlene. Come on.
I think I would've won.
Good luck, everybody.
Again.
And that'll do it for Nikki P. Min cashing this event out in 76th place.
We've got a lot of min
Good luck,
cashers.
everybody.
Thank you. And that.
Yeah, there's going to be, what, 33 min, 32 min
There's
cashers?
a lot of them. You know, Nikki said good luck to everyone. See them around in future Hold'em events.
Boyka up to 77 big blinds
Bad
now.
luck chips. That's fucked up. I asked for the good luck chips. Okay, Bernie Binder. His
Saw
turn to get it
a
in.
lot of this guy in Monaco recently. Live free or burn hard.
There's our tournament chip leader of pocket tens.
2.8 million. Sick.
And the way he's been running, he might have 3 million soon.
Just call.
Yeah, as he should. The jam is big enough where the big blind can't speculate.
Fours will put up a fight. Or she's out, as is Helpy. Yang with King Queen.
I don't like calling in this spot. I think it's a little bit too weak. Weissman could have ace, king, ace, queen, pocket pairs.
Well, guess what, Randy?
He's counting his chips. He's not pushing them in. Don't worry.
1.4 million. King Queen makes a great top pair.
It's a great top pair. That's probably okay.
Once again, besmirched by Randy.
I think that one's pretty straightforward.
Binder behind, at risk. Suited at least.
At least.
One overcard.
That's all you need. Just gotta pair it up.
Unless you're Dan Shack.
Oh, maybe you don't need to pair it up, do you?
2 diamonds on the flop as well as a wheel draw. 14 ounces to start. A couple of them folded. 10 live ones. But only one chance to hit remains. It's
There we go. There we go.
That's one of them.
The man of the moment.
Live free or burn hard. Burn hard Binder.
You know,
20 bigs.
he did say that he was already having the best year of his life before he even won the $10 million in that one tournament in Paradise.
I love a happy poker player.
Raise 40,000.
Let's see, Boyka
More aces.
running into the AA of Bin Dwan.
And he's wearing a no gamble, no future shirt. This is not gambling. This is just a good investment. Oh, Wilson's got tens. A bit too good to pass up off of his 6 bigs.
We've got the aces versus the aces of number cards. Pretty fair fight.
135.130万五。
Chuckles because of the slow reveal.
Yes, that's right.
From aces.
Wilson looking for some binary, looking for some zeros and ones. Can he dig one out on the turn or river? So far, no. Unless there's a 10 on the river, we're saying GG to Brock Wilson.
Good game, bro.
Seems like there was a bug in Wilson's code. No ones or zeros.
Brock Wilson out in 74th. Yet another in a sea of min cashes. Oh. Drawn at 24 big blinds.
可以了，冲到了50
Alright.
万，50多万了。
你的弟弟
对啊，
I mean, anything's alright as long as you're not out.
比赛就这么神奇。
I invented this phrase back in 2021, Randy.
Tell
And
me.
it goes, all it takes is a chip and a chair.
So you were the one who invented the phrase?
Yep, in 2021.
I didn't know.
Yep.
That's the line everyone uses.
It's my gift to the poker world.
You do have some gold, huh? You're a leprechaun.
I hope.
The 4 looked promising for the 6-3 offsuit, but nah.
Yeah, you need some more help with for the 6-3.
A lot more help.
Couple.
LB.
40.
There, 20,000.
Nice try, Mr. Yang.
I hope he can even consider check raise. His hand is quite good.
Yeah.
Looks like he's in the trapping mode. Just check call. Just fine, and maybe some trouble for Yang now.
Yang no longer needs to bluff, however.
I like checking in this spot with the 6. You do beat 4x, ace high. I guess he just strongly believes he's got the best hand.
Basically without Drake.
like I think $100 rake and free food for 15K, so basically nothing. Yeah, all right, but I don't know.
Better go do with family.
Yeah. Play Sundays online and chill at home in summer.
You can afford it, you know. And now you can afford it. They still need to work a lot to afford it.
Healthy with a very Finnish look on his face.
I think this.
Yeah,
That's how Finns look.
that's important. Super important.
Hardigan told me that whenever he would walk into a shop in Finland, even though he could speak Finnish, they would speak to him immediately in English because he came in smiling.
Well, here comes the chips.
Not even like in poker, you know? Like before poker.
Yeah, asking for a count.
So this is the problem with betting the 6 on a turn, is that when you get jammed on, now you're hating life because you might accidentally fold the best hand.
Sure.
If you don't, you have outs actually against King Queen.
Played on Venom XT. I lost with 3 guys today. Yeah.
The peak ranges should be decent.
Yeah. Miracle.
What do you mean, peak specialist?
I actually.
I mean, Randy, I know that there's, some pot commitment issues here, but even when you're ahead here, aren't you going to be have
That's a good point.
pretty pantsy equity?
Right, so if Healthy is semi-bluffing here, he probably has like 8-9 suited and any straight, any flush, any pair out. So I would think this is a pretty easy fold. It's not really pot committed in this spot.
Yeah.
It's different if Healthy jammed like 150K or something like that.
Now, I did say we weren't going to reach the pay jump before the end of the broadcast, but we are at 67 right now.
Possible. So you want Yang to call to help you get closer to that?
No, I want to be right. I want him to fold.
I think he should. Yeah. I think he's regretting his turn bet. His read was that he's not getting jammed on, but it happened. Because some people who would play the Triton, but don't play because, just play Triton 1, play 5K, whatever.
You played around.
I didn't last time I did, but I did the time before. So I played it once. Like, it was amazing. The feeling.
Lucky Chewy. All in, cards on their backs. He's got 9-6. Seems like he is behind to Queen High at the moment.
Enjoy, guys. Good game.
No, he was ahead. It was a pair of 6s for Lucky Chewy.
All right, enjoy that good.
If I read that correctly, a little fuzzy here on this monitor. But Alex Keating, either way, out 67th place. Haven't seen much out of Tyler Cornell. Looks like he's facing a raise.
Yeah, Zhang is open 10-3 suit and cutoff. This is something you would expect if we were on a bubble. Like just getting into money or maybe final table bubble, but she's really just going after these blinds, and Brewer's like, yeah, I've had enough of this. I'm in with pocket deuces. And it's not even a jam that a lot of players would even take in this spot, but just good recognition that Zhang has been raising a bit too much for his liking.
Picks it up. I think I'm getting word that is going to be nearly our last hand of the day. But to just put a tiny little bow on everything, before that, we're going to throw it on down to Jeff Platt.
Once tonight winds down, we can't help but look forward to tomorrow, because tomorrow is an absolutely massive day. We kick off one of the biggest events of the year, the $1,500 Monster Sack. That will take place at Horseshoe, because we have so much going on here at Paris, where we will crown 3 different World Series of Poker bracelet winners. One in the $1,500 mixed Omaha, one in the $600 PLO deep set, and one in the $1,500 six max, which we will actually move up to one of our feature tables. So that will be a part of our coverage. Ryan Nasruddin, Justin Arnwine, Michelle Molnaire, still in the hunt there, looking for that elusive, prestigious World Series of Poker bracelet. And then, of course, we do have day 3 of this little event called the GG Millions. I say little, it's one of the biggest 10Ks of the year outside the main event with more than $1 million up top. Cannot wait for tomorrow. Yes.
Oh, you heard about it, right? You missed it? If you talk about
Thank you, Jeffrey. As we reach the burning embers of this level and of today's broadcast, Peter Ertz once again with ace queen, this time suited.
Lona still thinking about what he could have had.
Tough to maintain your composure after all that, but this man has a lot of confidence in himself.
Just has to get into the next day and regroup.
Go back. Who was get the last bet? Who was it?
McEwen is going to peel with queen 6 of spades, dominated but has a live suit. There's a spade. Only one, unfortunately, and it is a top 2 pair situation for Ertz. And a situation where McEwen's probably going to have to call 1 bet.
Definitely calling 1 bet with decent pair, backdoor spades.
30.
He's hoping for a 6, but that would be no good.
That has been called. Can McEwen turn some equity? No. The answer is no.
The answer is no, that's right. And it's pretty much going to be over. Ertz is going to double barrel, especially with the jack showing up. More things to charge.
Or would be a nice spot to check. No, would be a good check. Like some guys maybe they'll bluff everything. Just to check. If the club was a 4 made the straight either way, then I would do it. But if it didn't, so it was a high club or something like that. Because I thought he kind of had pocket eights or something like 4s.
There's the predicted double barrel and the also predicted quick fold. Which brings us, Randy. Don't call me Randall Lou.
Unless you're playing with
To
someone
what, Joseph?
It brings us to the last hand of the night. We're going to see Alexei Boyka in action. Dr. Berg folds ace deuce. Been a pretty impressive day for him. Not surprised to see him make it through to day 3. Ling Lin calls with 6-7.
She calls him 6-7.
Flops a gut shot. So does Boyka, though.
You know you don't have to do the hand motions in the booth because the chat can't see it.
It's the only thing that makes it fun for me is doing the hand motion. Boyka continues.
It's a healthy bet. 70K immediately, which gives the gut shot a worse price to draw.
But a better price to check raise.
More costly price.
But if your check raise works, you win more.
Yeah, true. To win more, but to be honest, I'm not sure if she's going to win more. However, it's a big check raise, so for Boyka, he has to pay a lot more to hopefully hit the 9. just saying she has 2 pair plus right now. You know, but there are combos up, of course, from the big blind. It's a very aggressive play from her. Boyka might also be asking, okay, is this ever a jack? Do I have a queen out to the queen? And you can see the queen 10 is in the muck.
I mean, look, like a broken clock, Randy. Every once in a while, I'm going to take a stab at something and just end up getting it right.
Yeah, right.
That was a really nice play
It
from
says
her.
64, right?
Good read from you.
Wow.
She is fearless.
I'm proud you got it by the end of the night, Joe.
I may have a future in this commentary business.
Shall we do day 3 together then?
Let's do day 3 together, Randy. Me and you. Me and Lou.
Yes, that's right.
As these players write their letters home. 64 players remaining. This is a peek at the top 50 stacks. Trying to see who on here we haven't had at our feature table. That may be a notable name. Maximum Coleman still in. John Racner.
That's a good name.
34th in chips. Cliff Josephy, a.k.a. Johnny Bax. 31st in chips. No offense if I don't read your name. Hirose. TJ Reed. Yang Zhou. All players we have seen on our feature tables so far in this event. And I have a feeling the people we've been watching are near the top of this leaderboard. Kyle Julius, a player we haven't seen yet. Yep. Stephen Chidwick, haven't caught sight of him. Texas Mike in the top 10, as is Barack Hussein Weisbrod. Andrew Moreno, former chip leader. Luciano Macchiarelli.
Sean Perry, he's got a ton of chips.
Roman Robich in 4th. Lucky Chewy in 3rd. Joey Weissman in 2nd. And our overall chip leader is Anatoly Nikitin. Now, do keep your eyes peeled on our social channels to know when we go live tomorrow for day 3, 7 p.m., same bat time, same bat channel. But for now, for Randy Lou, this is Joe Stapleton saying, smell you later.
I don't know what the hell happened. Trying to work it out with Team YouTube, and my partner manager, who could have this done probably within a day, is out until the 18th. For those of you who don't know, on Nerdrotic Live, we had a stream taken down for just the stream was taken down No strike was given. No warning was given. Just the stream was taken down over the Black Snake video. So some AI bullshit. An AI parody video. We're not going to play here. Just to be safe. Okay? Just to be safe. And they are really confused on this. So they sent me an email saying, hey, the stream's been taken down, but they didn't say anything about inability to live stream. Well, I can't live stream on Neurotic Live for some reason. I don't know. So we're still trying to work that out. Other channels are fine. So we're just going to do this. We're going to do this until I hear from somebody. Now, Team YouTube was very good. They got back to me pretty quick, but I don't think they really understood like what it was taken down for, because they said something about, well, as long as there's an adult there streaming with you, you can stream on the other channels. I'm like, I am 56 years old. I am not a 16-year-old kid. They talked about like lowering the streaming ages, but I don't know what the hell. What the hell happened? But we'll figure it out. But in the meantime, I guess we'll just be streaming here. We'll just be streaming here until I hear from somebody, or until somebody gets mad or whatever, or I just make videos for a month. I don't know. Rather not, because I stream and I make videos. I do both pretty equal. Actually, I stream more. So I don't know what you would call my channel. Retarded. That might be the best way. Yeah, Sean Levy is gonna direct Ryan Gosling, who was in so far my favorite movie of the year, Project Hail Mary. Serves as a fresh start for the franchise. Really? So what was that? Was that a placeholder? What did Drinker call it? The quartering video of Star Wars movies? I don't think he worded it exactly like that, but that's what he meant. It says Mel Mack was pro free speech, harassed over nothing. Christians are not perfect. That is the whole point. We are sinners and we make mistakes, absolutely. But I don't know. I think online people overreacted to her. Lame. As far as her stances on that's not for me to decide, Kevin. I mean, I will respect your opinion, and Melanie can absolutely have her opinions, as right or wrong as I think they are. But yeah, my problems aren't with Melanie Mack. I will just say this: I'm a big fan of consistency. I'm a big fan of consistency and authenticity. And when that gets questioned, I have a problem with it, because that's just how I run my life. It's not a YouTube thing. And I'm sure that's how she runs hers through her religion, right? Mine is based on the principles of Alcoholics Anonymous, which require, I gotta say this slowly, rigorous honesty. And if I don't do that, that's just how I have it in my head, and that's how it's worked for me. I work the program as well as I can, because I didn't before. I didn't take things seriously before, told little white lies before, or ignored certain things that were against my values before. And I'm not here to judge or Melanie Mack in any way, shape, or form, but some people see it your way, Kevin. Some people see it the other way. I generally stay out of those debates because I don't have all the information, so I'm not going to pop off about it. And sometimes I have more information than I ever wanted. I think if you're attacking anybody based on their religion, or you're just dismissing them because of their religion, I think that's shit. I think Christians get shit on way too much. They are the easiest religion to shit on, from the edgelords or the super progressives. But you never see them. You see them picking on the Jews now, but you never see him really picking on Islam or, drawing Muhammad or something like, or, you see Jesus Christ Superstar for the 8,000th time and Cynthia Erivo's playing Jesus. I have her play. You want to be ballsy? Have her play Muhammad. That would be an act of defiance that we have not seen from Hollywood. But they won't, because they're cowards. However, as Ryan would say, I think if you are trying to deflect any criticism that's legitimate with your religion, well, that's just not being honest. They're attacking me because of this. And sometimes people are attacked for their religion. Sometimes people are just attacked for, not even attacked, called out for behavior, right? But I'm not a big fan of people using religion as a shield when it's just normal criticism, right? Misery Loves Clips for $10 says, Chrissy and Frank have started reporting their erotic channels. Frank will not take firing Chrissy lying down. It happened to me. Now it's happening to everyone else. It won't stop until someone stops them. Thank you for the $10. I would need evidence of that. I would need evidence. Now, there's been a lot of flagging of channels, and I think once that gets put into the air, that opens the door for everybody to do it. So once the person initiates this and tries to and makes it sound okay, then everybody's going to do it. It's going to be a complete shit show. It's a good unwritten rule, kind of like snitching. Listen, I'm not pro-crime or anything, but just something ingrained in me. I can't snitch. For a while in my life depended on it, but there's just something about it I don't like. As far as content creators go, that's the one thing that unites everybody. Everybody. So once that's put in the air, and once you do that, especially if, say, for example, not mentioning any names, you're out there going, I fight for free speech. Free speech. I'm a free speech absolutist. And you're flagging channels now? Oh, you're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. And you know what? I respect the person more if they said, yeah, I flagged it. Just admit the truth. But to pretend it's not happening and it's antithetical to everything we do around here. So I'm not a fan. Now, but I honestly haven't heard a thing since I was in Japan, and I'm staying out of this shit. Now, when my Nerdrotic Live got hit, it was hit by a video I played. Okay, it's not by anybody else. But if somebody has evidence of that, then that's on the perpetrator. But as I've stated before, I'll state again, I don't do drama. Everybody knows this is no secret. Anybody who's ever streamed with me or been around this channel for a certain amount of time, and funnily enough, the drama that I have gotten involved in, I have not started ever. It's always been something else, right? And it just gets plopped in my lap, and I'm like, yeah, I don't do this. Bye. That's it. I don't understand why people are always saying hail, and at this point, I'm afraid to ask. Nabo, it goes way back. Early days. Didn't start on this channel. I'm trying to remember where it started. When in our sphere, I'm gonna say the first time I saw people saying it was Hail Doomcock, but I think it doesn't predate that because I'm pretty sure like war campaign guys were saying Hail back in the day too, like early days, before everybody went crazy. But I can't say I know for sure, but I think it was, I'm pretty sure the first place I saw it was Hail Doomcock. But it's like saying, I remember early days of Comicsgate, people would argue like who came up with Comicsgate, and a bunch of people were saying it, like weren't calling it a thing, but off of Gamergate, a bunch of people were saying Comicsgate before anybody. I don't know who thinks they've taken credit for it, but I don't know. I was in Rich Hard's streams early days when he did them, when he's in his little white socks and there's dirty ones in the corner of the room and he's crumpling out comics, and people were saying it back then. No idea. But the first place I heard it, I think, was Hail to. But it was meant to be. I mean, to say Hail is, it's in Lord of the Rings. Hail the victorious dead. Kyle B sent this in. It's from the Howard Stern show in the year 2000, March of 2000. And the stock market had not collapsed, but taken a big hit. And of course, John's the big stock guy over at the Howard Stern show. And so Howard calls him in and says, John, what do you know about this stock market stuff? And I won't play that part of it. But eventually, Gary Delvante makes his way into the studio to talk to John about this.
Yes, of course. I'm asking you. We're trying to find something to talk to you about. What is it, Baba Buhai?
Stay in it for the long haul.
Of course, of
Sit
course.
down time, and then it'll go back up again.
Right.
It's not like there's some big crash.
Thank you. All right, let's continue, Robin.
Yeah. And like, what I heard, Howard, just about the stock market? Europe's exchange didn't crash, so then ours should be fine.
Okay, thank you, John.
In the meantime, I hear him on the phone all day long. What about that stock? You said it was going to go up. What about that stock? I heard you talking like Sal the stockbroker.
Right.
No, when Sal calls, sometimes I ask him about stocks.
Right. I know he's back down working the phones again, huh?
No, it's Sal. It's not.
Oh, it's Sal.
I called him yesterday. Well, the day before you called him, I know I heard you. How's that? What's stock going? You mean when? Yeah. So he got wrapped up with a guy that went to prison because they were taking advantage of old ladies, selling them penny stocks, and John got wrapped up in that.
And that guy went on to produce Gotti, and John was going to be a partner with him in producing the movie Gotti, which was a great movie. You're probably wondering how I ended up here. The way it starts is so fucking funny. Anyway, not the point. So you're Howard there, be like, oh, you're doing fucking stock stuff on the phones again? Just be answering the phones here. It's not about you mooching off our listeners and becoming friends with them and getting stock tips. That's not what this is. It's just, it's Sal the stockbroker. It's okay. Okay.
Oh, Sal called in yesterday. What? The day before you called him, I know I heard you. How's that one stock going?
You mean the one?
Yeah,
You mean the call that you
call
made?
him at home when you're at home.
Hold on, Gary. I hear you do this because you called.
No. He called me.
He called you back.
He wasn't here. That had nothing to do with you. The next thing I did is I heard you calling him.
And what are you calling about?
Because he called me. He's a guest on the show sometimes, so I returned his call. What's your excuse?
No, I'm pretty sure it was because of the stocks. But all right.
No, you don't know. Then you're an asshole. You don't know anything about me.
So John tries to throw Gary under the bus. So Gary goes, I heard you call him and ask him about stock advice while you're here at work. And John goes, well, I heard you call and sell the stockbroker too. Why are you calling him? I'm looking at a fucking guest on the show. It's my job.
I'm the producer.
The producer of the Howard Stern show. And Sergio's like, I guess. Sounds like calling it stock
If you
advice.
say so.
Yeah. So Gary fucking flips his lid right here. He's like, what the fuck are you accusing
Rightfully
me
so.
of doing? Yes. He's like, I caught you doing that. And then you're just making this up that I'm
He's
doing
a
it?
guest on the show sometimes, so I returned his call. What's your excuse?
No, I'm pretty sure it was because of the stocks. But all right.
No, you don't know. Then you're an asshole. You don't know anything about me. So don't you dare say that.
You've never talked to Sal about stocks?
I don't even deal with Sal.
You've never talked to Sal
I
about
call
stocks?
Sal back.
I'm sorry. You've never spoken to
Wait a
Sal about
second.
stocks ever.
Don't go fishing. I talk to Sal because sometimes he's a guest on the show. He'll call me and say, hey, I got a stock for you. I don't even invest in it, man. If anything comes in,
You never invested.
Smart. Sell the stockbroker, as we learned when he becomes a full-time cast member, is a retard. Everyone thought he was kind of smart. He's like, oh, he's a stockbroker. You know, he's got a real job. Oof. I would not talk to that guy about stocks.
Guest on the show. He'll call me and say, hey, I got a stock for you. I don't even invest in it, man. If anything comes in,
You never invested in a Sal stock.
that came from you. I don't talk to Sal about stocks. Don't try to sit here and point in the wrong direction.
I'm sorry. You pointed the finger.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
know what?
point
You're on
the
the phone too goddamn much. Do
You-
things you shouldn't be doing.
You
Now
talked
you
about
brought it up,
Sal.
you open a can of worms.
You didn't talk about Sal. You talked about Sal as well.
What
is he doing? You talking about Sal?
Who's he
talking
to?
You talked to
Sal
Sal
the
as well.
stockbroker, this guy, that guy, everything but what he's supposed to do before he does his goddamn show.
Yeah, do me a favor. Stick to the show.
Go home and close out. Come on,
Gary, you talked to Sal about
I got
stocks.
fight ticket.
What? You've never talked to Sal about stocks?
I don't call Sal about
Yeah,
stocks.
this is a lie.
It's not a lie.
All right. Uh-oh.
It's not a lie. What? You forget about him. I'm
You're
asking about
obsessed
you.
with
Sal on the goddamn.
Yeah, see, thank you, Howard. John's immediately just throwing someone else under the bus, so it makes it okay for him to call Sal about stocks. Well, no. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying, well, if Gary's doing it, then yes, please use company time for your own personal business. I didn't realize Gary was doing it also. That makes it totally okay. So it's like, well, no, John, that's not what we're getting at here. We're not trying to figure out what Gary's up to. We're asking you what you're calling Sal on company time and asking about stocks.
Not a lie.
All right. Uh-oh.
It's not a lie.
You
forget about him. I'm
You're
asking about
obsessed
you.
with
Sal on the goddamn
No,
stocks.
I'm not.
You are.
Me. He called me.
John, you called him yesterday. I heard you call him up, and the first words out of your mouth is, "What's going on
Now,
with that
Gary,
stock?"
Gary, you don't really know why I called Sal.
I don't.
The real
And you
reason-
don't know why I
So
called
I
him.
don't want to blow it now, but it wasn't about that. So after you. So because you totally wrong. No, you brought it up. I didn't bring this up. You did, Gary.
And you
I didn't attack you.
You
You attacked me. You attacked me
You
first.
mean something that's just not true.
Why don't you put
Oh,
First
Drew first blood. Gary, come on. You know better than to do that with John Melendez. He's very upset when you draw first blood.
me
You
first?
mean something that's just not true.
Why don't you attack me first?
So, you hear the difference here. Gary's like, you said something that's completely false to my boss just now on the radio show. That I do something I don't do. You just made it up. And just guessing that that's what I was up to. And John's answer is, you attacked me first. You said I was doing something wrong. Yeah, because you were. That's why I brought it up. Fucking asshole. You wonder why John, and we do the Living in the Past series on Patreon, and one of the guys that gets brought up on every episode is Gary Delavato. Because John worked for Gary. And Gary didn't put up with his bullshit. He called him out on it. And John does not like that. He does not want to be called out on his bullshit because he's perfect. It's like, well, yeah, of course I'm calling Sal the stockbroker about stuff. I'm stuttering John Melendez. You're lucky I'm even here. With fucking big celebrity working the phones.
accuse me of something that's not true.
No, you got a face. No, you attacked me about calling Sal. I was calling Sal for a different reason. So you were wrong.
Should have said I was calling Sal for a different reason.
Yeah, but I don't want to because there's a certain reason. See, this is going to blow everything with me. So we're working on something.
My problem with you is not what was going on a day ago on one phone call.
In general. Then you should talk to me in private.
Oh, come on. There's no private.
No, the point is,
no talking to you in private. When he talks to you in private, you don't listen.
That's not true.
That is true.
It's so not true.
I bet that's true. Based on everything I know about John working at the Howard Stern show, it's half an hour bathroom breaks and leaving early. I have a feeling that he doesn't listen to Gary Delabate. Doesn't give a shit.
You attacked me. I attacked you back.
Right, let's stop this right now.
Then you start yelling.
John, let's stop this right now and listen to me carefully.
See that you attack me is now it's turned into trashing me.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing.
We're getting there.
It's like everything's equal. You know, Gary goes, no, you did this thing, and you do this thing all the time. We're using company time for your own personal whatever. And John goes, oh yeah, but you do that too, asshole. It's like, I don't.
Yeah, but you called me out on it.
Right, you called me out, I called you out. What's the difference?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Speaking of equal, he thinks he's on par with everybody in that room.
He does.
That's
And Gary's going to bring that up in a moment.
okay.
Which I really appreciated.
Forget about him.
No, but he's
I don't care.
Listen to me.
John, do you remember that you worked for me, or did that thought just fall out of your stupid head?
Well, then,
Thank you, Gary. I'm your fucking boss, asshole. I want to tell you what to do while you're at work, you idiot.
Gary, first of all, if I worked for you, you came in here
John.
and
Me and you aren't equals. It's a sad state of affairs. I apologize, but we're not equals.
Gary, I didn't start this fight. You
John,
did.
look at me.
It's not about the fight, asshole. Holy shit, you can't get through to this guy.
Yeah, I know that Howard's enjoying this,
Yeah, he is.
but I do love when he dresses John down.
Oh, yeah. I just like that. We're not equals. I'm sorry to have to tell you this, man, but I'm the boss.
It's a sad state of affairs.
We brought you on because you're a mumbling idiot. We brought you as an intern. We didn't think you'd stick around this long. We paid you nothing to give you the hint. Yeah, well, it was great seeing you for the last year. Here, I hope you got some credits at NYU. Good luck.
You did.
John,
What?
you absolutely started.
No, I didn't. I didn't mention you in any way with stocks. You did.
The problem is,
I didn't want to come in. You guys told me to come in here.
you're busy on the.
Jesus, everything's everyone else's fault. I didn't even want to come into the studio. Yeah, John hates the studio.
I didn't want to get called out for being bad at my job.
Yeah.
And the boss is talking to you. Shut the fuck up.
He's the worst, isn't he?
Yes.
Phone with the stock market. I am telling you to stop.
I was working with Sal for
All
something.
right, I'm done with you now. Goodbye.
Howard, it's
Goodbye.
something
Don't,
on the show that would have been
don't
very
get
funny.
the last word. Don't get the last
Wait,
word.
in your head.
All right, I'm going to turn it. You're missing the point. You're missing the point again. Forget about that conversation.
All right, that's the conversation you're talking about.
I think you're right. Just go, you know what, Howard? I'm going to get out of here.
Okay, you're allowed to attack me.
John.
I'm ready to leave.
John, in general,
Yeah, I understand.
stick to your job. Don't talk on the phones about stocks. This is not the stock market. This is a radio
I
show.
understand.
And you know what? And don't bother me with this crap off the air. We're going to the office.
I'm not going to
Go
bother
to
you.
your desk. Do we?
I'm not going to
Call
bother
you now.
you.
I'm going to go to my
Trust me, I'm
desk.
not going to bother with you guys.
All right, go do your job. Go do your
I
job.
didn't come in here lashing out calling
Go do
people
your
assholes,
job.
Gary. Nor did I come in here calling someone stupid.
Oh, now he's a fucking cryboy victim over here. You called me stupid. That was pretty mean. I didn't do that to you. Shut up, thin skin bitch.
He remembers every compliment.
Yeah.
Every.
He sure does.
That was how you said
Call me plunger face, you
Yeah.
jerk.
Plunge it.
You jerk. See, this is the problem with Gary. It's hard not to use with John. Like, you really got his level. Now he's got you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? Well, you call me shrimp face.
When did I do that?
You're right.
Yeah.
If I did, it's because you deserve it.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
I should go enjoy that?
I mean, assholes are stronger than plunger puss.
No, John. Assholes are stronger where the plunger
Do the math.
Survey says. Do the math. Oh, fuck, I already forgot what his saying was. What kind of data does he look at?
Objective.
Objective data.
Let's go back to the tape and say who called who first. You called me plunger
No,
first.
first. I think you called me asshole first.
Well, why don't we go check that out?
Yeah.
All right.
Why don't we go to the ticket? Go check it. Guys, I've got to get done. I have an appointment. I have an appointment.
Ooh, the video game.
All right. And you know what? The show is done. I'm now into the what's that girl's name? That's the Julie Scheifer show.
Plunge plus the boss.
Snyder.
Back to his
I'm
dad.
gonna Julie Slater's show is on now. Let her have a shot. I had
Listen,
enough.
I came in because you guys asked me to come in.
I asked you for quick questions.
Yeah, and I answered, and then Gary came.
This is very standard sort of behavior from the button opener. Thus far, difficult to deduce what Daniel's cooking.
Yeah. Such a weak kicker.
So he checks. I fire 75,000. So what does that mean on a Queen 9-5 two-club diamond board? Okay. Well, when I bet this, you know, you're Biao right now. You got to be thinking, all right, well that board. I mean, you have Queen Deuce, right? So that helps you a little bit. You know, you definitely have top pair, and you know you're going to continue. The question is how. So he elected to check. And now when I bet, you still have to be a little bit worried about this board. I can have a 9, you know, some of the 9s, suited 9s. I can have a Queen too, Queen 8 suited, Queen 9 suited, stuff like that. I can have a set of 5s, maybe not so much a set of 9s. Those might 4-bet, but not always, right? So I could potentially have that. In addition to that, you know, it's a wet, dry board, so I kind of like his play to check over with the Queen because I'm going to bet that board a lot. Now when I bet. Obviously, I think you just have a natural call here with the Queen Deuce, right? So what do I have at this point? Well, we don't really know yet. We know it's probably not complete air, right? Because a lot of just complete air is going to give up as play. It's not going to like stab at it. But then again, what's the air? Like, you know, there's not a lot of air really there, like that I would stab with. Well, no, I mean club draws. Okay, that's the air, but that's not air. That's a draw. So really, when I bet, you're eliminating all the complete whiffs. There really are none left on that board because even like 6-7 suited, you know, that's a gut shot. It's obviously not. Yeah, that's the whiff. 6-7 suited, 7-8 suited, stuff. 6-8 suited, those types of hands. So you
can only call.
Nice to see this card under normal circumstances does have a club, but of course the dustiest available. Still very much in the checking camp.
Now the turn card is the ace of clubs. You have the queens with the deuce of clubs. If you're, you know, Bing. I mean, Biao. But it's a natural check here. You know, he could potentially bet this ace because he was a 3-better pre-flop, but I think check is good. And then as for, you know, me and my range, well, that's a difficult card for my range to bet because, again, he was a 3-better pre-flop. I did 4-bet. And if I'm betting here, if I'm going to be betting here, I'm representing a very strong hand, right? It's not like some goofy 9 or, you know, just a queen or maybe probably not even an ace because I'm going to, you know, I'm going to check back an ace there some. So, so really, yeah, it's going to be a low frequency bet because it's a pretty polar spot for me, like to just check my junk and, you know, bet my strong hands type thing. So I check this card. Again, that can still be an ace, a queen. It could also be straight draws, you know, like Jack 8 suited, King Jack suited, 10 Jack suited, lots, or even not suited, the King Jack and stuff like that. There's a whole bunch of stuff. All right.
Now Daniel checking back. 10 rolls off. Board coordinates a bit.
Yeah, the board is such. I don't think Dean has any bets. His only lines are check and potentially call. If that. Action on Daniel. So I'm gonna say if Daniel bets he has it. And by it I mean better than a queen. Could be wrong.
By the way, shout out to Tanner in the chat. Got us turning our attention to the fact that this was 3-bet pre by Ding Biao. The big little offsuit combo being put to work. And then flopping top pair, but assuming the passive posture, now facing 250 on the end. So how does that change the
I actually think now Daniel has some bluffs here. It's a 3-bet pre.
So it was open raise.
Ding-Yell 3-bet, flop, check, call, turn, check, check, and now he faced 250 after checking once more. Has the 3-better pre.
Yeah, I think Daniel's got to go after this pot with a lot of his three-betting hands that didn't materialize. Might turn some king tens into a bluff or some 10 jacks.
It's McGrath's range. It's an open razor that called our 3-bet. Took one stab on the flop. Didn't fire the ace on the turn. All of a sudden activates. You think Queen Deuce is any good here, David?
I mean, I think it rates. There's a good chance it is. I think Daniel does have some bluffs here as played, knowing it was a 3-bet pot.
Another is the 10 of spades. Well, the stuff I just mentioned, that just got completed, didn't it? Right? Jack 8 made it straight. You know, King Jack made it straight. And there's a whole bunch of 2 pairs there now. Right? So if I got this queen, I don't love that card. So I like the check. Now, I fire 250,000 to 370 on that 10 river. What am I saying that? Well, the value hands, as I said, are 2 pairs. Could be an ace as well. Could simply just be an ace, where like it was ace 10, or no, like ace jack that decided to take the lead on the flop, even some smaller aces, whatever. The ace is very possible, or 2 pair. That's the value on record. I don't have anything worse for value. So that's the value range. You know, I'm not going to have flushes here, probably. I'm not really checking back his turn 3-bet pot pretty much ever with a flush. But 2 pairs, straights, and an ace is my value range. So now you got to ask yourself, well, what are the bluffs? Okay, well, there's not, a 9 or a 10 doesn't really need to bluff that much. I mean, it can, but often the 9 and the 10 is going to come with some stuff that's right around there. Like I said, 2 pair type combos and things like that. So you could make an argument that some of those hands bluff, but might not need to, you know, because you still beat some hands. Like, well, not a ton, actually, when that comes. But when you think of the most natural bluffs, it's on the queen on 5. You're looking at, again, 6-7 suited, 6-8 suited, 7-8 suited. Those are the most natural. Those are the ones that have nothing at all, right? And then the other ones that I think, like, if you look at what a solver output would give you, would be some of, like, the 5-6 suited stuff, 5-7 suited, and that sort of thing. So that's the bluffs, right? So what do you think, guys? Which one did I have? The value or the bluffs? Well, that's a calculation you got to make for yourself. Put 2 and 2 together, and as it was revealed,
I'm a calling station, so I lean call.
Oh, and that's where Ding-Yell leans as well, and a pair of 5s isn't going to cut it, sir.
So it's interesting. I thought he was bluffing, but I thought he had a little more strength than that and was turning a hand he recognized was no good into a bluff, such as a 10 or 9, but didn't know the 7 high was in there.
Nice pickoff from Ding-Yell. As Negreanu cold busted there.
I had the 7-5. He tanked for 2 minutes, and he finally made the call, which was a little annoying, but understandable with the queen. But it taught me something, really, that, you know, I'm going to value bet this guy much thinner now. I just, you know, I'd already made my mind up because it was a couple hands where he called me pretty light. A couple of them caught me bluffing. And after that, I'm like, all right, well, you're going to take into what we call value town. Okay, so this next hand we're going to talk about here, pre-flop, blinds are 8-16. I get the 8-6 offsuit on the button.
These players being from the online world and the GTO studying world, I'm saying you don't see a lot of studying. You don't see a lot of these guys staring each other down and trying to get reads. You just don't with most of these players, and it's kind of shocking in a heads-up tournament because there's a lot to be gained.
Yeah.
And I think that's why players like Daniel and Alex make it this far here. In addition to being studied, they play the person, they study their opponents.
Well, no need for a whole lot of study here. Negreanu loves what he sees. Bottom 2 pair and being check raised. An opportunity to pick up even more chips. 25 becomes 80.
And Daniel's just going to call here.
So I open 35K, a little more than mid raise, and he flats. Again, that's just pretty standard. And now we have a flop, which is Jack 6-8 to make bottom 2 pairs. Okay, he checks. I'm going to bet here. Bottom 2. I don't mind being check raised. Obviously, it's a pretty strong hand, but no reason to go big. Kind of a draw heavy, not really. There's no flush draw, but there's a lot of straight draws. 5, 7, 9, 10, 15, like a lot of cards in the turn. Fill some straights or whatever. So he checks. I go 25,000, and now he makes it 80. Okay. So what you should be thinking here is, do I have a hand strong enough, or I just want to put it in on the flop? I don't think that makes sense for a couple reasons. When you play against the hand that's going to play with you, he might have Jack 6, he might have Jack 8. Some world he has like a set of 6s, maybe. But also, if you 3-bet this flop, you're going to let him get off the hook. He was bluffing. He's just check raising with some sort of backdoor flush draw and overcard type thing, which we see that's exactly what he had.
You surprised at all by Queen 7 of spades choosing to do this, or it's the right kind of combination to pick up some turn equity potentially? Is a very painful card. Says hello. Dame thinks it's gin. We know it's tonic. Top pair.
Yeah, I mean, you do. I don't know. Lost.
The check raise, I mean, you have the 3 spades, the 7 nestles between the 8 and the 6. There's a lot of cards that can roll up that can give you an excuse to keep delivering the chips and then really surprise.
All right, so the turn card is a queen, and he checks over his top pair a little sneakily, right? So the question now for me is, what do I do with bottom 2? Now, this is an important concept, okay? When you play against really good aggressive players sometimes, you need to have some strong hands in your check back range on the turn. If you don't, every time you check back that turn, they're going to overbet bottom you off whatever you have, and you won't be able to defend that adequately, right? So you're going to have some stronger hands. The reason I like the 6-8 was not only that it's a strong hand, it's 2 pair, but it also protects myself from a check raise. If I get check raised on that queen, I have to fold. There's really not a lot I need, right? I don't really want to have to fold, right? And also, in addition to that, that queen looks like it has to hit me. I called the check raise on the flop. I got something. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So, so basically what I want to do here is I want to check back turn and represent a 1-pair hand, okay? And then against a 1-pair hand, a lot of repairs, he might go bombs, and that way we can snap him off. And again, like I said, it protects us from being check raised. It gives us some strengthens our range in the check line after check raise, which is kind of important.
Really surprise your opponent on the end. I mean, note that he checks and then Daniel checks back. Delightful river for Negroni's purposes.
I just don't think Daniel is very spewy, right? When Daniel's bets usually mean something. I mean, he does get tricky to bluff with the 7-5 of diamonds. You did see that, so that is in there. I just don't know if Queen 7 is the one you want to be check raising there.
10 seconds.
That 180.
Now, Daniel has only one option here. Just call. Let's play no real reason to raise.
Yep.
Can't fold.
2 pair.
Keeping an eye a little bit on the 9-10 maybe. Flat.
And now they're back to even.
And on the river, he bets 180,000. And this is not a spot where raising makes any sense. I don't care what anyone says. I mean, like, you can try it, but silly, really. Because as played, he showed a lot of aggression on the flop with the check raise. That queen came off. So either he missed, he's got like 7-9, 7-4, some sort of goofy straight draw, or he's value betting. And if he's value betting, it's probably not a jack even. Because if it was ace jack or king jack, he'd probably 3-bet some of those. So what the hell is it? Like a queen, but queen what? Could it be queen 6? Could it be queen 8? Just one queen? That's not enough to target, when we're thinking about raising here. So really, in this spot, just kind of happy that he put sizable chips in with 180K bet, and really simple, easy call. Sometimes you can simplify the game in these ways where you just have to understand the board textures and the strength of your hand, and not always feeling like you have to just play every spot incredibly aggressive, because you have to be thinking about both with value bets and bluffs, like what calling ranges look like in this spot. And after check raise, like I said, some of that's gut shots. Typically what that hand is going to be strong hands, 2 pairs, right? Maybe top pair some. People are doing that more nowadays. And then some like gut shots with backdoor flush draws. That type of hand. those are the check raises, or even a 6. Sometimes people are going to check like check raise king 6 or something along those lines. So those are the couple hands we wanted to cover. As I said, throughout the match, I felt like I did a really good job of adjusting to seeing that, he was calling me in these spots to, just getting more value when need be. And again, in all 4 matches, I was never in jeopardy. I never lost more than a third of my stack. I was never down more than a third of my stack and grinded. And I play a little more snug in some spots than I know some of the, GTO players will play. Like, for example, against button open, I'm not calling with Jack 6 offsuit. It's probably fine in theory, whatever. I don't really like having to play every marginally bad hand out of position against good players. So I'll give up some of those. Okay. Now, if I was playing online, against the same people over and over, you're just going to try to play every hand pop, the best way you can. But in a live setting, one-on-one, 1v1, this is it. You don't have to stick to theoretical principles. You can just sort of use a little bit of feel, intuition, and sort of get a sense of where the match is and where you want to take it. So those are the hands. It's what, like 1:30. I'm going to have a coffee. Just going to probably veg on that couch. I mean, I might hit some balls in the backyard. I got a kayak. I could go jumping now. We haven't gone on the lake. I took the kayak in the swimming pool. It's not quite as fun, I don't think. But really, I think today is a good day to rest and root in Josh, who, very important horse for us in the fantasy. He is in the final 15 of the Omaha 8, the 10K. And we got, of course, Dong Chen, in the GG Millions Day 2. So trying to scrape together. I'm trying to do my part. We were close. That was a huge pay jump for fantasy, by the way. Me finishing, not winning. That one card cost me like 35 fantasy points. That's a lot of points. But we'll get them. Long summer ahead. Peace out.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Savance, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show. We'll cover things in sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we'll give you guys a fresh perspective on all things and how we see it. So yesterday, Rich Paul, the ringleader of the Legion of Haters, he made a lot of headlines for his absolutely idiotic comments on Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, the dichotomy that existed between these two guys, where he essentially said that Scottie Pippen had a bigger impact on the Chicago Bulls winning than Michael Jordan. And I think we went live about it and we ripped him to shreds. But it didn't just stop there. The entire sports world essentially erupted on him and just went off over his idiotic comment, because it truly was idiotic. It was idiotic, it was short-sighted, and it was just stupid, flat out. So a bunch of various people chimed in, and we're going to play some of it here. We'll first start off with the sound from Mike Greenberg, and then from there we'll just let it flow. And I want you guys to listen to what people had to say in response to this stupid comment that Rich Paul had to make. Take a listen to this.
Are Scottie Pippen's rings just as valid as Michael's rings? Of course. He absolutely earned them. And would Michael Jordan have won all those championships without Scottie Pippen? No, of course not. You have to have other great players. But Michael Jordan is the reason they were in those 6 finals to begin with. If you unplug Michael Jordan, the Chicago Bulls Bulls have 0 titles in their history and candidly are one of the worst franchises in the history of the sport. That's how valuable Michael was. So to suggest that Scottie Pippen was the most impactful, I was there for all of those games. And Scottie Pippen was a great player, a very valuable player, and very impactful, and 1,000% deserving of being in the Hall of Fame, and deserves all the credit in the world. His rings are as valid as rings can be. But the idea that he was the most impactful player on any of those Bulls teams is candidly not even worthy of response. It's so far from accurate that I don't even think that there is a reason to respond to it.
I don't like having these intellectually dishonest basketball conversations. It feels like it's some way to prop up LeBron by smacking down Michael Jordan. I heard this from one of Michael Jordan's teammates. This is an exact quote, Greeny. Michael Jordan is so great he went into the Hall of Fame with 2 players, himself and Scottie Pippen. That's how great Michael Jordan was. That's what they felt. And this is someone who's in the room with them. I will say this. Name me a time where Scottie saved the day. You can think of Shaq and Kobe where they played 1 and 1A, Magic and Kareem the same thing, Stephen Curry and Kevin Durant, or one severely leaned on the other. Michael Jordan, if they were going to get it done, it was because that guy was saving the day every single time. The alpha of alphas, and we don't have to say someone else is more impactful or put up a stat that says, well, Scottie got 1 more rebound a game. Who cares? Either way, these are silly conversations to be having, and it's honestly beneath Rich Paul to be saying this because we know it's going to tie to LeBron James, even if LeBron doesn't directly feel that way. We should not be having this.
I mean, I'm not here to denigrate Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen is a great player. He's 100% worth it.
What are the Pippen rules or what are the Jordan rules?
No, I mean, he's not Jordan. No, and that's not an insult because no one is. Michael Jordan is, in my opinion, the greatest player that ever lived. So to say Scottie Pippen, that's like saying you can't be rich unless you have as much money as Jeff Bezos, right? You can be plenty rich and not have $500 billion. Scottie Pippen is a great player and deserves to be considered a great player, and he isn't Michael Jordan because no one was. Tim, finish it up.
Look, if you unplug Dwayne Wade from the Miami Heat, LeBron doesn't win titles there. If you unplug Kyrie Irving from the Cavaliers, they don't come back from 3-1. If you unplug Anthony Davis from the Bubble Lakers, they don't win a championship. Let's spin it forward to right now. If you unplug Jalen Williams from the Oklahoma City Thunder, I sure as hell hope nobody's looking funny at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for coming up 1 game short of knocking off the Spurs, for taking the Spurs to 7 games. It's really hard to win a championship when you don't have your coach well. Okay, that's a pretty obvious statement.
He's saying Scottie's more impactful than Michael? Okay, play that again.
I think Scottie's rings are just the same as Michael Jordan's. Why not?
Because he wasn't the best player on the team.
Yeah, but he was the most impactful player on the team.
I get it.
What do you mean?
Listen, I get it.
If you unplug Scottie Pippen off that team,
Sure.
Jordan's 0 for 6.
Sure, who knows? But replace Scottie Pippen with another All-Star. No one does it without another All-Star.
No,
you got another All-Star. He's going to win one.
You can replace him with another All-Star, but just because it's an All-Star don't mean it's Scottie Pippen.
Okay, is Chris Bosh's rings the same as LeBron's? Like, what are we doing? You're going to say Scottie's more impactful? I think Scottie's underrated. I do. I think he was everything that you needed from him, he was able to do. He could score, he could defend. He was okay with whatever Mike was going to do. He'll complement that. And I thought he was a great team player until he wasn't going to have a play called for him and he got benched and Kukoc hit a game winner. But that's crazy to say that Scottie's more impactful. He's not. Can you make the case better all-around player for the Bulls back then? What he was asked to do was different than what Mike was asked to do. Scottie was guarding everybody. He could guard 1 through 5. He was a good passer. He could pick you up full court. He could score. He could block shots. I mean, there were a lot of great things that he did, but he wasn't more impactful than Michael. And yes, does Michael need Scottie? Yes. How many rings does Scottie have without Michael? I mean, but let's not make this equal. There were a lot of guys who won rings because of Michael Jordan. Yes, Bill.
My favorite part of that is him saying, Scottie Pippen's more impactful than Michael Jordan. And in a millisecond, Max Kellerman just goes, no, he wasn't. But they're all starting to talk at the same time. He said, no.
Yeah. There was somebody who had some common sense in there with Max saying that. More impact. Okay. Rich Paul is LeBron James' agent. Okay. LeBron's had talent. Every great player has had talent to win a title. Do I take away Magic's, or do we demean them because he had Kareem and Worthy and Byron Scott? And go down the list of great players. Bird, who had best front line in basketball. Like, what are we doing here? Yes, Mark.
It just really feels like Rich is trying to talk LeBron into the GOAT spot by saying that. And you don't have to. I think this is hurting his case. Like, look, you have your agent on every single podcast talking about Michael Jordan wasn't as good as you, or he needed X, Y, and Z to win championships. Every single great player, nobody wins with scrubs.
We saw LeBron without the second great player on that Cavaliers team, and he got them to the finals. The fact that he went to 8 consecutive finals, that should be highlighted. But can we stop with this? Unless LeBron wins another title, none of this means anything. Nobody's changing their opinion. And even if he wins another one, people still aren't changing their opinion.
So you heard what he had to say. Now, during that segment, they also had Gil Bertarinas there. And Gil, as soon as Rich Paul said it, you were like, yeah, I can see it. What, Gil, stop, man. Stop. Stop with this trolling and this rage baiting, man. You got to stop. You got too much money to do on this, bro. Like, stop. What do you see? Like, what exactly do you see? And the part that really got to me is that Max could have been like, yeah, but you wouldn't have any rings if LeBron didn't play with them. I'm surprised he didn't say that. That show has become it's like the one-stop shop for being a hater. Seriously. It's not even like the barber shop. It's like the hater shop. You go there to hate. And these dudes are like, Rich Paul and these guys are super haters, bro. Like, these dudes, I don't know maybe where they're from. I don't know where these guys are from. But they just breed them. Just a bunch of hating ass, you know what, bro? Like, y'all are super haters. And then the part that gets me is that you have LeBron's fan base who goes around talking about, I don't understand why people just don't like him. Yo, y'all are clowns, bro. You dudes are clowns, man. Like, that's just the truth of the game here. And then they got the nerve to talk about, the black man. That's what LeBron fans do. The black man. Bro, what are you talking about? You're watching your black man always taking a dump on every other black man that LeBron played with. This is their work. So what happened to this whole black man love and all this? Where was all of this at? These guys are a bunch of clowns, man. Like, that's just the fact of the matter. That is the fact of the matter. You got this dude comparing LeBron James to Muhammad Ali. Like, yo, when does it end with this fan base? Y'all are not convincing nobody that LeBron is better than Michael Jordan. I told you. The only people that feel LeBron is better than Jordan are just his fans, and that's it. Nobody else feels this way except them. And that y'all look so desperate. Rich Paul and these guys, you look so desperate that you're constantly doing this. And then they're going to do the same thing. Jordan, my man. Jordan, I'm cool with Jordan. And then proceeds to just take a dump on his whole career. But this is their way. This is how these guys operate. It always involves tearing down someone else to uplift their guy. That's their whole appeal. That's what they do. That's exactly what they do. And now they're going after Jordan. Bro, just knock it off, man. Like, no one agreed with you. You notice the only people that would agree with that comment from Rich Paul are LeBron fans. That's it. Because these guys are in a cult. They don't even like him because of basketball. They like him. Some of them like him beyond basketball. Some of them really want to bounce some balls. Seriously. Some of them really want to bounce some basketballs. Oh, those guys. It's disgusting, man. These are my thoughts.
Every time. I'm like, okay, so you're going to get an amendment without working with the right. Go ahead, tell me how you're going to get 38 states. There is no way to get 38 states without the right and the left working together. So anyone who's trying to do that is trying to divide us. They might not know it consciously, but they're helping the propaganda of traditional media. Who divided us in the first place? Traditional media, right? So, but wait a minute. Why am I on the left and you're on the right if we agree on, let's say, make up a number, 40% of issues? So why do we have to hate each other? Why do we have to fight? Why don't we agree on the issues that we agree on and disagree on the issues we disagree on? I mean, I say things like this that are so obvious, and then I get attacked for it. Like,
Yeah.
Really? That's the hill you want to die on? And Dave, I'm super proud that, like you said, I planted my flag on that. And if I'm known as the guy who's pushing for unity so we can end the corruption and we can end the wars, I mean, yeah, please, whoever's on the left attacking me for that, attack me more. Tell everyone that I'm for unity and making sure that we unify enough to get our country back.
Well, to me, it seems that obviously, like, a lot of this stuff is like within reason and just applying common sense. But certainly, like, if there was some, I don't know, whatever, like if there was a Maoist, authoritarian, from my perspective, just really horrible politics, but we agreed on one small issue. They're like, yeah, I'm probably not going to coalition with that person over a small issue. Like if we agreed on some like zoning law in a local ordinance or something like that, but he's like a Maoist, probably okay. I'm not going to want to, but like what it comes down to is how important is the issue that we're talking about here? Like to me, that has so like even just now when we were talking about money and politics, I think me and you have a slightly different view, or maybe a pretty drastically different view on that. And that would be a really interesting conversation. Like we could do another podcast and we could talk for a whole hour about that topic. But like this podcast is kind of, in my mind, about us coalitioning on this current war that's going on. And the reason why I'm more interested to talk about that with you right now is because, like, my God, man, there's a war on right now, and the global economy hangs in the balance, and like thousands of people have been killed. Like we killed like 200 little girls on the first day of this strike. It's being done with our money and our name, and like I don't know. I judge that that's the most important thing right now. And I know when I was on the Young Turks, I think I made the comparison to like if it was 1845, we were both abolitionists. And then we just started arguing about tax policy the whole time. It's like, my God, man, there's human beings are slaves right now. Like, it's incumbent on you to put those differences aside and work with. And then the other thing, which, look, maybe this is just a simple, just the way I am. Look, I don't know what to say. This is from my perspective, but I think if I was watching an episode of The Young Turks in 2017 or 2018, and then I watched an episode of like, I don't know, like Steven Crowder show or something. I don't know. I might have agreed more with some of the stuff he was saying than the stuff you guys were saying. But today, if I watch like if I'm watching like Bannon and Jack Posobiec pretending there's a deal and celebrating how Donald Trump just got a historic win when it's just so obviously not true. They're just like sitting here watching people lie to me in the dumbest possible way. And then I turn on an episode of The Young Turks, and I'm like, goddamn, Cenk and Anna are nailing it. So, like, and by the way, from my perspective, I haven't changed at all during this time. You know, like, I mean, maybe a little bit around the edges, but I'm pretty much still agree with the same stuff. So, sorry, like, don't come at me for that. It's not my fault that these guys are lying to you and these guys are telling the truth, but that's kind of where we're at right now. And at least to me, I go, look, at least since October 7th, now there's certain guys who, in my opinion, have always just been phenomenal who are left wingers. I mean, Jeremy Scahill and Glenn Greenwald, guys like this, I think have just been phenomenal reporters. Ryan Grimm's a phenomenal reporter. But if I'm listening to Crystal Ball or Cenk Uygur or anyone over the last 2.5 years talking about foreign policy, I think they're largely getting it right. And so what is the expectation here? That I'm not supposed to, like, interact with the people who are right about the most important thing right now? And for everyone else, I think it's left and right are useful terms, and there are meaningful differences between my worldview and yours because of our different perspectives. But it's also like, you can't, when you're talking about people, they're not defined by their politics, dude. Issues are much more important than whatever you think your worldview is. What actually matters is that there's kids dying right now in our name, and it's destroying our country. That's what matters. All right, guys, let's take a moment and thank our sponsor for today's show, which is Superpower. I love this company and thrilled that they're on board as a sponsor. I don't know about you, but I feel a lot of times, like when I go to the doctors, they essentially don't do anything. I don't know. I mean, they give you a basic physical, but they don't really find out what's going on with your health. Now, if you really want to find out what's going on with your health, you've got to check out Superpower. Check this out. Superpower sends a licensed professional to your home, or you can visit a nearby lab. It's up to you. It's one simple blood draw with over 100 biomarkers, which is way more than what you usually get, and it unlocks a real understanding of your body. Then they have an app. So their app includes detailed information on your heart, liver, thyroid, hormones, metabolism, vitamin and mineral levels, even environmental toxins. So from disease prevention to treating that annoying brain fog or simply optimizing your gym game, Superpower is the most comprehensive and advanced system out there. You can figure out what supplements you need, how much sleep you need to be getting, what your diet should focus on. Superpower comes up with an actionable health plan specifically designed for you. And prescription suggestions like peptides can be directly bought through Superpower, so you don't have to go anywhere else. But it's even more than that, because Superpower doesn't just give you a one-time snapshot. It tracks your results over a lifetime. Each test builds on the last one, so you can actually see the progress that you're making instead of starting over every January with some vague, I'm going to get healthy this year plan. You actually know how you're doing, how you're getting healthy, and what your
think maybe even Dirty Jersey Rat. Dirty Jersey.
But Kiki, we were talking about it, Marsh. One of the theories going around is that he was a virgin before Ice Dancer because he fell for her so hard so quickly, which some are saying is the infamous sign of someone's first bitch.
No, I don't think he was a virgin.